Mishlei 24 and Mishlei 3, Proverbs 3, because it's the 3rd of the month. Proverbs 24, because in the Hebrew calendar, it's the 24th. When you read these Proverbs, as I read a proverb of day, again, 2, considering both calendars, the Gregorian hours and the Hebrew hours as well, if you are honor the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. What keeps going through my mind today reading these is the deceptiveness of the human heart, my human heart. The heart is deceptive above all things. Do not trust it. And heart, lev, in Hebrew is heart, mind, sort of the inner man. There's nefesh, your body, your flesh, your humanness, and there's your soul, really, right? Your real essence of who you are, that inner man, that lev, the heart, mind. And the Lord says, love me with all your heart, mind, body, soul, strength. Because he's trying to talk about not just sort of that inner man of you, but he's talking about even all your actions, all of what your physical body's doing, and then even everything else around it, right? But lev, the heart, mind, those feelings, those thoughts, the thoughts which are the feelings which are the thoughts, this world, the inner world, which plays itself on the outside. So no matter how much we believe we are putting on a good face, behaving properly, taking the right action, who you are inside eventually comes out. And it is, in some form or fashion, it comes out. And man alive, when I was reading today, Mishlei 3 and Mishlei 24, just I started praying, Lord, the reason I want to be like you is because I want my inner mind, my inner heart, I want them to be as perfect as you, because they are just vile and ugly. Not all the time, not in all the same ways as everybody else, but generically speaking. So sexual immorality, for example. I have all sorts of sexually immoral thoughts, not exactly like everybody else's, but they're not of God, right? They're not of the purity of God. And so beyond that, they're just like everybody else's. Selfish or jealous envy. I generally am not a jealous, envious person. It's not generally my disposition on a spectrum of 0 to 10. I'm not a 0. I'm not a 10. I don't know. I'm in the middle, maybe. I don't know, 4 or 5. It's just not. I would even say 2, 3. It's just not a high thing for me. Never has been. But I'm not above jealousy. I'm not above envy. I know what they feel like, and they're disgusting. And that's the thing. And it's gross. It's so throughout my whole life, I've been able to overcome the jealousy, the envy. I can overcome it quickly when it goes in my head and in my heart. I really can't overcome it quickly because it's, again, generally not my disposition. I don't struggle with it, but I still have those feelings, and I hate them. They're gross, right? They're just gross. Feelings of insecurity, a lack of worth, unworthy or insecurity. Again, on a scale of 0 to 10, I'm not a 0, I'm not a 10 in terms of feeling of unworthy or feeling insecure. But I know what they feel. I know what those feelings are like, and depending upon the situation, depending upon the moment, I might be closer to a 10 or closer to a 0, right? My point is, I don't want to be insecure and feel unworthy, because God tells me that I don't need to be, that I don't, and yet I have those feelings. I know what they are, and they're gross. They're gross because God tells me I can have all confidence in Him, in His plans, in His perfection, in His provision. Maybe not in this particular moment am I getting what I think, but God's got it under control, right? And so I need to rest assured, confident, secure, standing in front of the King, right? So I guess where I'm driving with all this, and I hope you're picking up on it, is when I'm listening to the Mishlei, it's reminding me that which goes on in my heart, mind, my lev, be very careful with it. Pay attention to what's going on in your heart, mind, and do not give into it. Do not, lest you start walking down the path of my own destruction, the path of evil, because it's not as God designed. If it's not the path as God designed, then it's the wrong path, period. And so that's why I have to say, Lord, help me with these jealous, envious, selfish, immoral, not good, not of your design thoughts. Because these not of your design, these lotov, not good, not as you designed, not as you intended thoughts and feelings I've watched myself over the years, will push me off the track, your path. And I can get back on the path. If I fall off the wagon, I can get back on. It's just, kind of gets tiring to be bumped and bruised around. And so I come to you today with a word of encouragement that don't defend yourself when you have a thought that you don't like about yourself. When you have a thought that says, oh, look at how gross that envious, jealous, gluttonous, sexually immoral, greedy person is, and you're judging them, you're pointing the finger. The three that are pointing back aren't to condemn you. It's the Lord's way of saying, look, as you're pointing that finger, if you spot it, you've got it. Something about what I'm drawing your eye to, what your attention and your mind is focusing on, is something I'm trying to talk to you about. The Lord is trying to get our attention. Again, it isn't that I'm just as greedy and selfish and envious, exactly like that person, those people, that situation. But maybe there's something about that I need to confront. Because the Lord's trying to help me understand me. Not judge all of you, understand me. Walk more in His excellence as He designed for me. And so don't so immediately say, well, I don't care about that. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not like that. Again, we're doing this whole not me, not me, not me, as you're pointing at something. But if you were giving your eye, your ear, your attention, even your languaging to something, because there's something about that. There are 8 billion people in the world. There are 50 trillion, what's the word? Googleplex worth of bits of information. Why are you paying attention, giving your eye, giving your ear to this situation, this person, this information? Of all the bits of information, of all the people in the world, why this bit of information? Why this person? If your eye and your ear and your heart and your mind and your energy is being drawn to that, it's because the Lord wants you to take something away from it. First and foremost, you got to examine yourself first. Again, the finger that points at that bit of information, the Lord is saying take the triple amount of time to examine it for yourself. Triple amount of time being, by the way, the happiness formula tells you how to examine it according to the triple amount of time. The 3 elements to examine these thoughts first. As you examine these thoughts first, go through the 3 elements of the happiness formula, IQ, EQ, GQ. As you go through them, you will then know how then to respond either in the moment, eventually, with the person, with the situation, or just with yourself. You will know how to walk His path of righteousness and excellence for you, such that you can be a better vessel for Him as He designed you to be. Because the Lord made each of us. None of us made ourselves. The Creator made each of us for a purpose. His purposes, not ours. So it doesn't really matter. Don't run around looking for the passion of your heart. Don't. Stop the game of all the languaging. I gotta find what my passion. No, you gotta find His passion as He wants to demonstrate it, as He wants to affect it through you. It is not Cassandra's passion to own vending machines and fill them with healthy drinks and snacks. They're snacks, God forbid. Snacks, morsels. Nowhere on anybody's radar screen, no parent raises their child to say, hey, I'd like you to own vending machines and fill them with healthy drinks and snacks for the general populace. That is not on anybody's radar screen. And yet, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant business, and I'm digging on it. I'm digging on it because I understand at this phase of my life, in this time of my life, how the Lord is allowing me to use that physical, productive element, that business opportunity, to walk out His truth, to walk out the refinement of this vessel for His purposes. And so it's a divine blessing to be the owner of Healthy Treats for You. It's a divine blessing to have my book have been published, the Happiness Formula, because the Lord has given me this information to share with you. And it is beyond my comprehension, because none of this was on my radar screen. And that's essentially what I hope you take away from this multiple minute vlog, extemporaneous download, after I have listened to multiple times, I think about 10 times each, Mishlei 3, Mishlei 24, as I have parsed some of them through the Hebrew, as I have just prayed about them. This is all that has come based on just those two, but the truth of the matter is it's based on every day looking at the Mishlei, and it's based on now being here in Shabbat, honoring Shabbat, meditating upon, thinking about this 24-hour, the seventh day the Lord has called us to set apart as holy, such that I have been, since sundown Friday evening, and I have honored this day as His day that He has called us to set apart, to think about His world, His kingdom, His creation in a fully focused capacity. He wants us to do that all day long with everything anyway. But this day in particular, make sure, at least, if you didn't do anything this 6 days, do it this day. And so on this day that is Shabbat, as I sat here in meditation, sat here in the Word, sat here in study of His truths, this is my extemporaneous download for you. I pray it has been helpful, edifying, encouraging. If it's been confusing, reach out and ask, and I will attempt to do the best I can with my finite words to clarify in my finite understanding, in my finite space and time. But ultimately, it is my heart's desire to share my experience, strength, and hope with you about what my walk with Adonai Eloheinu Yeshua HaMashiach looks like, so that you may find what He would like His path and His walk to be for you. But it's that path, that walk pointing towards Him. It's His path. But how you manifest that, how you walk it out, will be how He designs it for you. So may the peace of God, the power of His wisdom be known to you today. Shabbat Shalom.